Hello everyone. Welcome you all today for the open elective class. This is Dr. Hubert from Computer Science Department going to handle you the open elective for mobile application. So from the name itself we can understand we are going to create in this concept, in this subject we will be learning how to create mobile application and you can develop the mobile application with the help of programming language called Android. So you'll be learning about the Android and which application, which software which used for developing the mobile apps you will be learning. So in this session, what are we going to learn? In this session, we will be learning about what is Android and where we are using the Android application and what about the version history from where it started and what is still now. So evolution of entire Android operating system you are going to learn. So shall we learn? Yes. So what is Android? So Android is an open source operating system based on the Linux. What is about the open source? So from the name itself, you can understand open source means anybody can able to do the programming. It doesn't mean that you are the person only licensed. There are two different type of operating systems are there: open source and a license. If you see Microsoft is licensed, you need to pay for it and you have to get and you can only use the features. You cannot able to add or modify. Whereas Android is an open source operating system where you can modify according to your needs. You can modify the operating system and you can able to create more application in the open source system. So that is what open source operating system. So based on Linux is a platform where open source application, open source software operating system works based on the Linux, whereas Microsoft Windows works based on, it is not an open source, it is licensed copy proprietor, it is not an open source. The Java programming interface for mobile devices such as smartphone, yes, Java is an object oriented programming language. So if you see, there are different type of programming languages there: structure oriented and object oriented. So what about the object oriented? We can create object, that is real world or entities. So by which programming language, if you know what is a language used for communication, whereas what is a programming language is how far we are communicating with our system, with the laptop, with the electronic gadgets, we are communicating with them. We are asked them to do our task. So for that, Java is a programming language by which we can able to interact. We can create our own application and makes the software to work. So that is what. So softwares are created mainly based on the programming languages. So what is about the operating system? So normally we'll be before Android. If you see, there is a black and white phones. So we cannot use it as a computer. Just we can make a phone call. Only phone call only used before. But nowadays, if you see the mobile phone, we can browse in mobile phone. You can book the ticket. You can navigate the place wherever you want, and you can also talk. You can also record the videos. Everything can be done. So mobile is multiple purpose, like a multimedia devices we are using. So for that to work in the mobile, Android is a language which is a powerful operating system. It's a mobile based operating system. If you see, different type of operating system is there for the mobile. iPhone is using iOS, whereas smartphone, that is Android normal phone we are using, it uses the Android. So what is Android? So Android is a stack of software for mobile devices, operating system, middleware, key application. So it is, as I said, is a open source technology by which we can able to modify and you can use it, customize for our usage. We are customizing the software for the in user purpose, user interface for that open hand alliance. What is about open hand alliance? That is, I'm going to design an operating system. I'm going to modify it, but with modifying it, what is the purpose on it? It has to globally recognized. So for the global recognition of the software, Open Hand Alliance Consortium is being developed. So for that thing, so that consortium able to determine the apps for the mobiles, so that whatever I am app creating, it is suitable for all the mobile phone. Google is a company. Google is having its own mobile phones. Samsung is having its own mobile phone. AKM, Snaptic. So these are the different type of companies. So all the group of company are ready to accept the Android. That is the reason. Are ready to accept the Android? Yes, I'm ready to use that Android operating system to my mobile phones. So that only the open hand alliance has been started. So when the Google purchased the Android in the year 2007, so 2007, the Google purchased the Android. I want to use it for the mobile application. Next thing, what are the features? As I said, it is open source. Anyone can customize, and it has some interesting features like weather details, open screen live RSS feeds. That is real simple syndication feeds are available. Next. So what about the Android history? He is a person, the person whom you are seeing in the computer. That is what we call it as Andy Rubin. So he is a person who first founded the Android Corporation in Palo Alto, that is in United States. So he is a person who invented the Android operating system. Afterwards, in the year 2005, Google has paid to the company and acquired the Android. Now Google is the owner for the Android company. So Android is come from the nickname called Andy Rubin. He's a person who created the Android operating system. So 2008, 7, the Google has been announced the development of Android OS. Next, 2008, it launched HTC phone with the Android mobile. So this is how the Android version. Version 1 and version 2 is a cupcake. So we'll be seeing one by one what are the different type of versions are there. Version 3 is donut, 4 is eclair, 5 is frio, gingerbread, honeycomb, ice cream sandwich, jelly bean, lollipop, marshmallow, nougat, Oreo, pie. Then afterwards, they decided 10, 11, 12. So nowadays we are under the Android 12th version. We are using 13th version is yet to come. It's going to come in the year this year. The next month they are going to release the 12 and the 13th versions. Mostly they will be releasing it. So first version that is 1.0 is started in the year 2008 and 9 itself 1.1 and Cupcake 1.5 where they use HTC mobile phone. 1.5 version is used in the HTC phone where they have implemented the Bluetooth, the home screen gadgets. You can see the screen here. So this is the home screen which is created for Android Cupcake. So next, Donut version 6, 1.6 Donut has been evolved. And what is the difference between Donut? Here, they have keep the interfaces called, they are having the CDMA, smartphones. So they have added a battery usage indicator also present, how many percentage of battery is there. So camera app, they have introduced in the Android Eclair. Android Eclair, they have introduced the uh, camera features. Next one is Freo. So Freo is the sixth version. In that they have included cloud to device messaging. So that is using internet. We are storing the data in the cloud. Then JIT compilation, that is Java compilation, has been added with the version Freo. Then afterward Gingerbread. So Gingerbread version, bread version, what they have implemented is the color scheme, black background and contrast background. They are implemented, and the third version of honeycomb version, they implemented the holographic images has been implemented. The features in the multitasking also they have implemented in the Android version 3. And version 4 is ice cream sandwich. So it mainly focus on human interface, how the screen will be there, what type of interface we are using, that and all. Next, fourth version, that is Jelly Bean. So in that 4.1, Jelly Bean has been implemented. They have given the action buttons, and they are given the operating system in the language. More notification will be displayed. Next version is 4.4, that is KitKat. KitKat version. They are in for entry level devices with the limited resources. We can able to install the app. Next forms Lollipop, that is fifth version, major version. So in that Lollipop material design, they have implemented Android runtime, that is a Dalvik. So this is very important. Normally we'll be using for Java programming language, since everybody know Android is mainly developed with the Java programming language. So since Java programming language required JIT compiler, so some modifications, some versions, some modification cannot be done in the JIT compiler. Compiler means what? One who execute the instructions. So you know the whenever your programming language, you have to write the code for the programming language. That code has to be compiled. Then only we will be running and we will be getting the output for it. So for that, normally Android device is using JIT compiler, but nowadays they are using Dalvik. So Dalvik compiler is used instead of Java compiler. Java programming language they are using, yes. Compilers, they are designed specific compiler only for Android. Why? Means certain library function is not available in the Java compiler. Even though Android is developed from the Java programming language, it doesn't support some features. In order to enhance the future of the Android, they have implemented Dalvik compiler. So we'll be learning Dalvik in the forthcoming unit. That is in the architecture we'll be learning. Okay. Next thing, Marshmallow. So Marshmallow is also sixth version. In that API they have implemented my fingerprint sensor, USB-C connectors, micro SD card. So everything they have implemented in the Marshmallow. Next, Nougat. Nougat. So Nougat is a used inline function. Power saver mode has been implemented in the Nougat. Whereas in Android Oreo, they enhance a feature of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and all. They have improved voice over internet. That is for 4G devices. They have implemented the Android Oreo. Next, Android Pie. Android Pie also supports multiple features, and it has a screen navigation bar, and many features they have implemented, such as notches they have implemented, and system behaviors and all they have implemented here. Next, Android 10. So Android 10 coming up with the swiping, and 10 with having the advanced features such as Google Assistant. They have implemented the Google Assistant, and Alexa and all they have implemented. Alexa is implemented with the Prime. Likewise, they have implemented Alexa and Google Assistant with it. And Android 11 consists of Bubbles, which is supported by the iOS. where notification will be displayed over 24 hours. Then 12 is also having the larger button size animation they have implemented material for your design. Next, these are the evolution of the Android devices. Still 13 version has been there. So totally 13 versions of Android has been released still date. Then what are the devices? What are the companies which are using the Android devices? As I said, open and source consortium. That are the companies which is belong here. Google Pixel, Samsung, Samsung Galaxy Note, Motorola. So these are the companies which have been there. Okay. Thank you for the session. Next session, we will be learning more about the Android devices.